Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, we're doing the Wordle, we're ranking the roster moves, and we're making predictions as we finally have some more matches again this weekend. If you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. I'm excited. This is my last solo episode for a bit. Brock is finally going to be back from vacation and ready for the episode next Monday, so excited for that because it is a lot more fun to do it when I have my co-host here, not just having to yap solo. So probably a little shorter episode today, I would guess, just because I'm doing it by myself. So I would expect it to be probably shorter than you guys are used to. But we're going to kick it off right away with the Wordle. We're going with Brock's favorite first guess, and that's TJ Halley. Okay, young dude, didn't play for any of these teams. No rings, less than 5 wins. Not from the U.S. Okay. I don't think they count London. I think they count London and Carolina as different teams. So it could be somebody that played for London. I'm gonna guess Afro. Let's go with Afro. Okay, younger than Afro. Didn't team with him. Not for London. Not from England. Could this be a Saudi Arabian player potentially? Could it be Exnid? I don't know how old Exnid is actually. Okay, it's not one of the Falcons boys. I'm trying to think of an Australian. I think they count Denz as having wins. He's obviously a lot older too. This is a really young player though. I was gonna say Snoopy because I believe he's from Mexico, but he played for Boston. Oh my god, who else is a really young? Could it be a Canadian player maybe? Who's a really young Canadian player though? My god, I don't even know who this is. Could it be somebody else from Europe? I was going to say Linz, but it can't be Linz either because Minnesota. I'm going to guess Linz to just like get that region. He's older, didn't play for LAG mates either. So he's 21. 21 years old, no wins, not from France either, not from England. Not from Saudi Arabia. Dude, where's Wardy from? It's a really random player, I know, but where's he from? Oh, he's from England? Okay, I didn't know that. Shoot. I don't like to make these too long. I might only give myself a few more guesses before we just jump into it. Dude, what other... I'm trying to think of like Irish players or like different countries, but I don't even know... I'm gonna say I'm just gonna guess ASIM, even though I know it's not him, to get all the teams out there. And Canada. Oh my god! So you didn't play for? Dude, who did this guy play for? 21 years old, didn't play for like any team I have listed. Not from Canada, England, France, Saudi Arabia. I know it's not Snoopy. What other? I'm trying to think of a player from a different country I don't have named. Oh, you know who it is? I'm an idiot. It's got to be... Is it like Super or one of the Miami guys? I'm an idiot. I always forget about one random region when I'm doing these. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Super's 24. I didn't know that. It's obviously not Lucky or Metals. They're older. Got to be like Real or Rencor, one of those guys. Okay. Teammates with Real, 0 wins. Is Rencor? I thought Rencor's a little older than 21. Is he 21? No, it's not Rencor either. Super Metals is no way he's 21. He played in BO4. Vickle? God, they're gonna make me go through. Oh, yeah, he wasn't. He's not teammates with Super. Duh. It's got to be Vickle. Yeah. Okay, that was brutal. That took way longer than it should have. Yeah, that was brutal. I always do that. If any of you that play the Wordle do this, where I constantly like, I just like forget a region. Like it happened once. I forget who it was, but it was a Falcons player, and I just like forget about the Saudi Arabian players, and then all of a sudden, like it'll be like it'll say no England, and I'll just forget like, oh, like a couple Irish players have played, or just like I just forget, and I'm just like, who could it be if there's none of these regions? And I'm like, oh yeah, there's a full Spanish team I'm not thinking of. So yeah, that was dumb of me. But let's do something more fun. Let's talk about roster changes. So usually we do the power rankings. Obviously, there's not really much that we could potentially shift based on gameplay. Like the teams that didn't make changes aren't really going to move much. So what I want to do is I want to rank just like a very rough draft of kind of what I'm thinking as my favorite roster moves. Now, not all these are confirmed. We're just going to go off like the heavily rumored ones. So obviously, Thieves, FaZe, no changes there. Ravens, there was talks of Kenny moving in. Now it sounds like that is not a thing. Kenny is not going to be moving in to the roster. So as of now, they're going to be sticking. As of now, at the time I hit record on this, Boston is sticking. Cloud9 sticking. Obviously, Surge and Ultra are sticking. So really we have the Optic confirmed roster moves with Skies in, and then obviously Huke back in for Pred. The Vegas rumor is that Pred, Priesta, and Arcitys will be joining XNID. That hasn't been confirmed as of the time I hit record. And then LAG, I don't believe that one is confirmed either, but Fellow and Johnny are rumored to be in with Lunars and Kismet. And then Rokkr is rumored to be Kenny in for Paul. Obviously, Jacob Hale, I think, like said that one had happened, but hasn't been like officially posted when I hit record on this. And then Miami Super in for Lucky. That one is confirmed. So a lot to unpack here. The way I'm going to rank him is just how I like how I like the roster moves, not necessarily how much they're going to improve, because that's a little bit of a different story. Like Falcons pretty much automatically would have to be 1 in that case then, because the other teams have at least shown like Heretics have a 3rd place this year. Rokkr got a top 6 and have overall been like decent for the most part and been winning matches. LAG have been pretty horrible, so I guess they might be a team that might improve a lot too. But Falcons like literally haven't won a series, so like if they're like a 500 team from here on out, then that would be like a crazy improvement. So I'm just gonna rank based on what I think, and I mean, I think the roster change that moves me, I don't know, really, I feel like there's one roster change of all of these that is my absolute favorite, and that's the one I'm gonna put up at the top. And then after that, it's just a crapshoot, and I'm not gonna argue with anybody's opinion. Like one way or another, because I don't know where to rank them. My favorite move though is Optic's move. Obviously it wasn't going to work with Kenny and Pred. Like we had seen that. I thought in the beginning of the year, I thought, it's the World Championship team, give them a longer leash. I still believe that was, the right move to give that team a longer leash, because like they did win a World Championship, so like they earned the right to try to figure it out. They couldn't figure it out, so obviously a roster change was then needed. But I really like where they went. Thinking just strictly for this game, I guess I should say, because I don't know. It's when I look at this roster move going forward, like Skies for Kenny, I feel like, they're both veteran leaders that are good players. Like for your future prospects, I feel like neither one of them is like a crazy way higher than the other, as much as I love Kenny. But in terms of like Huke versus Pred, I think Pred probably has a better, longer career ahead of him for like the future of their career. But I think for this specific game, like just alone, they're probably going to see more success with Huke in this specific title than they would have with Pred, because Pred, it seems to be a little bit behind him, and shottzyy just generally weren't working together. They were struggling to, beat anybody. And I think Huke and shottzyy just work better in this game. I think Huke is better at this game right now than Pred is. So I think like this is my favorite move, because I see this team maybe not being like the top 3 team with FaZe and Thieves right away, because obviously like Toronto and Surge look really good right now. Ravens potentially could be nipping at their heels, although they're kind of slumping a little bit. And then obviously Cloud9 could potentially be up there. And who knows with the other teams with their roster changes. But I think the Optic move is my favorite, because I think they do get a lot better. And I think that they're going to kind of round into form. And I guess I saw like a map and like a couple highlights of their scrims. But like I see, Ronnie just tweeted 1 minute ago as I'm recording this that the map count for the Optic versus FaZe scrim was 7-1 Optic. I think the only, what did they lose? I don't know what map they lost, but it sounds like Optic went 7-1 map count, like over hardpoint and control against FaZe. And then I think they like split maps for the most part with Thieves, unless I saw that wrong. But like, yeah, Optic, they look really good in scrims. Obviously, it's just scrims. They have to see it in a match. And I mean, if they're going 7-1 against FaZe, though, if they can translate that into matches, I mean, who knows? They might be online gods again. But I guess that's the other thing for me, is I think that they're going to play a lot better online, because they always have. Huke and shottzyy have pretty much always had success online. And then after that, I literally have no idea where to go. I do not know where to put like any of these teams for these rankings. I guess I'm going to say my second favorite move, and it's so biased, is probably Kenny, but you could legitimately put that at 5th also. Like, it depends how you're ranking them, because like I said, Falcons is probably an insane improvement because like they now have Priesta, and Arcitys. Granted, like Priesta and Arcitys, we haven't seen them play at a super high level in quite some time, but they're at least like league capable players that even when they were on bad teams, they were able to win maps at the very least, so able to win hard points. And they still have Hecz on the team, which I do think like if he gets a good team around him, depending on how the communication aspect of it is, he could be a good player. I will say though, like bias aside for obviously you guys know how much I like Kenny. I think that I would have this roster move as number 2 regardless of who it was, because I said I want to see Arcitys, Fellow, or Kenny on this team. I called it like I think over a month ago. I was like, when Kenny was really struggling, I was like, change of scenery. Let's get Kenny on this team for Paul because Paul's terrible. And somebody was like, Kenny for Paul is diabolical. I like the move for Rokkr because there's really like 2 potential outcomes to me. Either Kenny comes in and he plays as poorly as he was on Optic, doesn't work, and Rokkr are bad either way. Like they weren't going to do anything with Paul anyways. At least they're taking a chance because objectively Kenny has shown a million times that he's a better player than Paul. Maybe not specifically in this game, but for how many years of history do we have all the way back to World War II to show that Kenny is a better player than Paul? So I like the chances that they're taking to like hope Kenny hits form. They need a veteran on this team clearly, and he can hopefully bring that for them and be that veteran leader they need and hopefully pick it up. Or like I said, he doesn't improve and the team just sucks. But either way, they were not going to get anything done with Paul. So I like the risk. I would have liked it if it was Fellow or Arcitys as well. Boy, and then I look at the other teams, and I guess like my next favorite, I could even put this ahead of the Minnesota change, would be Miami, because it was a change that I thought like basically it wasn't like a if it happens, it was when it happens. It had to be made, in my opinion. Like Lucky was playing terrible. Real and Renkor are legitimately like a top sub duo in this game. They are both so good. That, what, I'm actually going to switch it ahead. I got to take my Kenny bias out of it. I'm putting that as my second favorite roster move. And with that said, I don't even know if it's going to work. It was just a move they had to make. Like, I think it's a good move, even if they end up not performing well with it. I still say that it was the right move to make because, once again, it's the same thing as the Paul move for Minnesota. Like, could they somehow even get worse if Kenny continues to play poor? Sure, but the ceiling is now higher for that team. Like, if Paul were to hit his best form and Kenny were to hit his best form, Rokkr are better with a best form Kenny than best form Paul. So their ceiling just got higher. In the same way, I think with Miami, like we've seen time and time again, when they play a top team, like Real and Renkor are absolutely shooting. Metals is here and there shooting. He's a little bit inconsistent. He didn't play terrible at the major in their one series against Thieves, but Lucky is just constantly letting this team down. And I feel like, you know what, give Super a chance. If he performs, this team could get a lot better. If Super can be a consistent AR for this team that they don't typically see, if they can have one more consistent player, this team could be a very good, consistent top 6 team. And if he doesn't perform, like I said, with Lucky, they weren't going to win anyways. So I still don't mind the change at all. And then I guess in 4th, I'm going to go with, I don't even know. This is just such a toss-up. I'm just going to throw LAG in 4th and Falcons in 5th. But like I said, if you're going just purely off their old team to their new team, how much better are they going to be? Like just only in respect to like their old team, you could have Falcons damn near 1, I guess. But I don't really love either of these teams. Like obviously the Falcons roster is an improvement because I expect them to at least win some hard points now and like be a little more competitive. And like with this roster, they are eventually going to win a series or two. Like they now have like a guy like Pred who can be a superstar. He hasn't really been that in this game, obviously for a lot of reasons, but can be. Priesta has been struggling for a few games now. Arcitys, he could pick it back up. He's been pretty good in challengers. And Exton we've seen shooting. So this team can win series. I'm just going to throw LAG as my 4th best roster move, my 4th favorite, because I like Johnny a lot and I like Fellow. I just still don't like, I don't know how this team is going to work because it's a lot of players we don't know too well. Like we don't know Lunars too well. He's a little bit slow. Fellow can speed it up, but like I think Lunar still has talent despite the fact that he hasn't been playing well. I think the situation was just so bad. And I like Johnny a lot. Johnny is a really good player. I've always liked Johnny. We just keep seeing him on bad teams. I want to see him get a chance in like a middle of the pack team. But I think he's an improvement over Linz. And Kismet has been overall pretty good. He's had a little bit of a slump, but like I said, the team's been so bad, it's kind of hard to tell if Lunars and Kismet are also part of the problem or if like the environment around them was just so bad. But Lunars definitely deserves, I guess, more of a shot than like Priesta. We've been there, done that. At least Lunars is like a younger player, maybe give him more time to develop. So I don't know. I think like a Johnny and Lunars, if they can both be good, they're two young players you can maybe build around if they perform well. Fellow's a good veteran presence for them, and Kismet. Like, I think the communication of this team is going to improve a lot with Fellow on it. I just still like, I don't see this team. I see them improving. They're going to improve. They're not going to be like a complete like free win like they have been pretty much this entire year, but they don't move me to like, I think Heretics could be consistent top 6. I think Minnesota could be consistent top 6 with their move. I don't see that out of LAG unless Johnny and Fellow can absolutely just be reapers in the league like they were in Challengers. And then Falcons, the other one, like I said, going to significantly improve over what they were. I just like this team. I don't see as any potential to win. The one thing I will say I like about the move, if we're not talking just this year, is I really like the future prospects, because we know like Falcons had to have been offering a decent amount of money to these players because they basically gave up their chance at champs this year in order to join this team. Because like obviously like they would have to go like they would basically have to win every online match because that'd be 100 points, and then like win a damn major or like get like top 4s at both majors to even have like a chance to make champs. So like it's pretty much impossible for this team to make champs. So these players gave up. I gotta believe like, I don't know. I think maybe Cloud9 would have tried to sign Pred just with Accuracy being the coach, Mac and Sib being on the team. Like maybe they tried to find a way to get Pred. Maybe Ravens did. Like, but I guess Pred's not willing. No, chalk that because Pred's not willing to run a flex. I thought maybe they could convince him to run a flex for Vivid and go in there. But if he wasn't willing to do it for Optic, never mind. There's no way he was willing to do that for Ravens. He would have just done it for Optic if that were the case. I don't think Boston is like making a change, even though they should. So I don't know. I guess maybe this was his only option. But anyways, back to my original train of thought there. I like the move for Falcons picking up Pred just because like how much money we know they potentially have. They could have just, gotten up a building block player to throw in and like Pred, because obviously like right now in this game, this is probably Pred's worst game. But once again, you got to look at the body of work. If you look at Pred from literally since he joined the league in Vanguard, he was a really good player, superstar level player. MW2, same thing. Last year, same thing. He wins champs. He's been overall a really good player. And then this year, a lot of stuff going on. Has to get benched, doesn't play for a while, comes back. Like Pred is still like a superstar talent. So the fact that Vegas is able to get him with a lot less competition, where there would be a lot more competition if this was the offseason and all teams were looking for players. So if they were able to lock him up and like use him as a piece to maybe bait in more players next year, and maybe he's like the player they're going to build around, don't mind that at all. I think it's a good pickup in that aspect. There's the immediate roster kind of like I don't see this roster doing too much there. Yeah, that's the talk. I want to hear your comments down below. Obviously, like I said, I wanted to rank them or like put them in some kind of order. It was more just for me to be able to talk about the roster changes that have happened. Because like I said, I don't necessarily think that this is some like done deal. Like this is the order of who's going to be the best. But I do think every team improved. I'll say that. I think Optic improved from what they were in the short term. I think Miami improves, or I like the roster. I think Minnesota improved. I think LAG got better, and obviously, unequivocally, Falcons better have gotten better. They haven't won a hard point all year. They better be able to win one with this team. But yeah, I like where we're at here with the rosters. I think we're going to get a little bit more competitive, and then let's jump into. Here we go. The pick'ems should be up on the screen now. Excited to get into these. It's time to pick some matches, time to watch some matches again. Should be a lot of fun. And like I said, like we have 2 Falcons matches this weekend, which used to be just absolute snooze. They used to just lose everything. It was a guarantee. I still think they're probably going to lose both matches this weekend, but at least it's like, at least they have like CDL players we actually know. Like we get to see Arcitys play again, which will be fun. We get to see Pred in a different environment. We get to see Priest in a different environment, maybe his last chance. We get to see if Xnid can look good playing with other much more capable players, seeing if maybe he shows that he deserves to be in the league for sure, or if he just isn't able to to get it done with those players. So I'm excited to see that. Starting out with Surge Falcons. I mean, I feel like this is going to be a heavily picked match, for the Surge. And once again, technically at the time of this recording right now, it hasn't been like officially confirmed that Falcons made that move that I've seen at least. So, I mean, we'll see. Something crazy could happen and they change, but I'm going to assume that the roster leaks are, accurate and whatever. And we're going to assume that it's the Exnid, Pred, Priesta, Arcitys, and I still think it's going to be a 3-1. I'm going to give Falcons a random map just for the hell of it. I don't know. Surge definitely win this. They should probably 3-0. I'm just, for whatever reason, I just like, I don't know, little honeymoon period for this brand new team. They just like find a way to pull out a map, but it'd be pretty disappointing if Surge ended up losing this. You know what sucks too is for predictions, can't just drop the little flame on a match against Falcons just to double your points for free. Because you never know, maybe they are a decent team now, or maybe they're more respectable and can pull off random upsets. Before it was a literal guarantee. They hadn't won a series all year. Then we've got Optic Minnesota, and this one is pretty juicy for obvious reasons. Unless something weird happens and Kenny isn't the pickup, it's a fun series because it is Kenny versus his old team. It would be very poetic and very funny if Kenny comes out and drops a 1.5 and beats Optic, because the timeline would be hilarious. Like, Kenny couldn't buy a kill on Optic all year, and then he gets off the team, plays them, and he's just instantly the Optic killer again. However, I don't think that's going to be the case here. I actually think Optic are going to look a lot better online. They currently, I mean, from what we just saw in scrims, they just destroyed FaZe, but like, I think the Huke and shottzyy duo is a duo that doesn't need a lot of time, to play together and get used to each other, because they are so used to each other already. They've played so much time together. So like I said, it's not really a duo that needs a lot of time to figure it out. I guess we'll see. I got Optic in this one. I'm assuming they're pretty high percentage like they always are. 88% is kind of crazy, just how they've looked, although Minnesota looked terrible, so we'll see how they look with the change. Both teams a little bit under practice, obviously. Would assume at this point Optic has more practice because they announced their roster change a bit ago. We still have yet to officially publicly see the Kenny change, but my hope is that Kenny drops a 1.5 and beats them, because I would like to see the memes in the timeline, but I think Optic are going to become a really good online team, again, like they always have been with shottzyy and huke. Then we got Ultra versus FaZe, an absolute banger of a matchup. I am still leaning towards FaZe here. Ultra, they didn't look the best online before the major, and then they dropped to losers right away, and then they obviously make a great run and looked for like a little bit there, like they were going to make it to finals after knocking out Thieves, but I got FaZe. You know what? I'm just going to go straight 3-1s in the day. I'm going to take FaZe 3-1. Hoping to see some more Game 5s online, because that tournament, what was it, 1 Game 5, and it was Game 5 round 11 in the winners final. We couldn't even get a Game 5 in the best of 7 final because they 4-0'd them. But I like FaZe 3-1. Could be a 3-0, but I'm just going to say Ultra. Find a way to win one map. And then we've got 2 new look rosters. We got Super coming in for Miami against the new look Falcons. I'm going to say the new look Falcons find a way to win a couple maps, but I've got Miami winning this 3-2. Where are people at here? 91.5% Miami. That feels a little, I don't know, it feels a little crazy maybe because like I said, Falcons did add some decent players to their team, I would think, but Miami's been pretty good all year, and they've bit of struggles last stage, but I do think they're going to improve with Super. It is the time to catch them though. Maybe they're not, like fully used to the squad and something happens here. Then we got Carolina versus the LA Gorillas. This is actually like, I don't know, 89% are on Carolina, but this feels like a trap match to me. Obviously, Carolina should win this, but I don't know I wonder how the vibes of the team are when they apparently tried to pick up Kenny, but then contract stuff made it fall through. And now, at least as of right now, we haven't heard of any other potential roster change happening. So it's a little bit like, I don't know, how is the team chemistry with the fact that they tried to drop a player and now they might just have to play with them because the roster change couldn't be done due to the organization. Like, I don't know. That could be something to keep an eye on, but I think Carolina still get this done, although, like I said, I think it's a trap match. I'm going to say this goes to a Game 5. I think the new look LAG, little honeymoon period, maybe maybe they're able to get a little bit done, but it definitely is. It's scary. I think it's a trap match. Like Royal Ravens still should be the better team, but just like I don't know. Like I said, vibes. Not sure how they're going to be in that camp. And the LA Gorillas have a new roster. They have Fellow and Johnny, motivated players. Johnny coming off obviously a Challengers MVP, so there's definitely a world where LAG upsets this. I'm going to go with Carolina being able to win online like they have been a lot this year. Oh boy, then we got Optic and Cloud9. I think this is a bit of a bold prediction, but I think Optic are going to win in Game 5. I think they're going to come out this week and just have like a really weird, good weekend. I think Huke is going to improve this roster a lot. Like I said, I think him and shottzyy are going to bring, I think like this team is going to be vibing a lot. Like Huke and Skies are two guys that bring vibes. I kind of want Minnesota to beat them if Kenny's on their team now. And I want to see this Cloud9 team keep improving, but I just have a weird feeling about Optic this week. And I think they're going to get wins done. Not that the fan pick matters at all, but honestly, this is lower than I thought. Optic obviously usually gets a massive percentage of the picks just with the fan base, but I didn't think that it would be as close as this. I thought Optic could get like 70% of the fan vote. I think they're gonna pull it off. I think they're gonna win, but I don't feel super confident. I feel like Cloud9 should probably be the favorite, like I said, because I do think Optic improves a lot online with Huke, but Cloud9 has been the better team as of late. I'm going to take Optic 3-2, though. Something weird can happen. And then Breach Ultra, I'm going to take Ultra in a 3-0. 88.5% of the community are on Ultra. I think Breach had a crazy win against LAT, and then after that, they weren't able to, win either of their next two series. And I think the LAT win was maybe a bit fluky, and it doesn't sound like they're making a roster change. And obviously, like, apparently, according to some people, there's a rumor that like at least one more roster change is coming, but I haven't heard what that is. And I would assume it's like a Boston is making a change, or Ravens they're making a change, but they didn't get Fellow, and Arcitys obviously wouldn't really work with Slasher, but they didn't get Fellow and they didn't get Kenny, so I don't know who else would be moving in there in terms of challengers, ARs, but I got Ultra 3-0 here. I just still don't have much faith in Boston. And then I got Minnesota 3-1 over Boston on Friday. 71% of people are on Boston. See, I don't know. Both teams struggling. Overall, like if you take away the one crazy win, like I said, that Boston had against LAT, it's been a struggle for them basically since the first LAN. Like they were good in stage 1 online, and then basically since they hit LAN, at Major 1, it's been kind of a struggle, and then they obviously have a good win against LAT, but it's kind of a one crazy win in there. I like Kenny to come in, Rokkr improve, and take out Boston 3-1, although that one certainly could go Boston's way if, Kenny steps in and keeps playing poorly. Rokkr are going to be basically in the same spot they were with Paul. Then it's a 3-0 to FaZe. I'm throwing the little flames on this too. Even though I love Ravens, they're my boys. I love Tej, I love Slasher, I love Gwyn. Love Vivid. If their roster is the same, I see FaZe kind of rolling through with them. And then we've got a great match. It's honestly like with the improvement to Falcons and just like some of the roster changes, it makes the first matches a lot of fun. I mean, we have two different teams playing that made roster changes on Friday. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. If you include Optic, you have 4 teams that made roster changes playing on Saturday, and then on Sunday we've got Rokkr, the only team that we know of as of now that made a roster change, but the other matches anyways, Carolina FaZe should at least be a decent match, and then LAT versus Vancouver is a banger. I like LAT to get their revenge. I'm going to say it pushes to a map 5, and LAT take them out in a game 5, but certainly a world where Vancouver could win this. I wonder, 82 or 83% of the fans basically picking LAT is kind of surprising, just with LAT bowing out early and Surge making that run to top 2. I thought more people would maybe be on Surge. I still figured LATs would probably be the favorite, but I thought maybe like 35 to 40% would be on Surge. But I'm kind of with the community on that one. I feel like LAT are going to take it out. But let me know in the comments down below your thoughts, your predictions. I do feel like for the first time in a while, this is really the first week that like, because there's always a Falcons match where they could never win. So like for the first time in a while, it feels like I can't just like mark down any series as like a guarantee. Like FaZe over Carolina, just with the way that they are right now, kind of feels like it could be a guarantee. Other than that, I would say most of them, like, there's a world where Boston beats Ultra. Boston could certainly beat Minnesota. Surge Thieves, either team could win that. Carolina, LAG with the roster change, who knows? And then the two Falcons series, like, I would expect Vancouver to for sure take them out, so maybe that one as well. But you never know with a new roster. All of a sudden, like, that roster on paper with Arcitys and Priest as an AR duo doesn't look the best, but who knows? Maybe they end up playing really well together. Something just clicks. But yeah, comment down below your thoughts. Let me hear what you think about the roster changes. I want to hear what you think of every single team's change, what you think their ceiling is, and what your predictions are for this week. And then we are going to finish it off with the CDL gridlock. Like I said, when we do this, usually it's Brock and I bouncing ideas back and forth. This time, though, we're just going to jump in. I'm going to predict, I'm going to put in random answers. I'm not going to, unless I can maybe think of a super rare answer or something off the rip, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time trying to get a really rare answer or whatever. We'll just drop any random answer in there. First one is 9 championships and teamed with Draza. Kind of a fun one, I guess. Would be Slasher would be kind of a fun one. Kenny. You know what? Just for fun, since he's my boy, I'm going with Kenny. 9 championships, team with Draza. 9+ championships, at least 25 years old. Who's another fun one we could do? Let's do Karma. I feel like most people are going to go for Scump, Crim, Clay. He's not a super rare, I guess, but we'll go Karma. 9+ chips, LAG. I wasn't going to go Slasher, but let's go Hecz. Then 0 chips and teamed with Draza. Did Venom and Draza ever play together? I think you get, we have 7 guesses. I'm just for rarity, I'm going to put it in. I don't remember if they ever teamed on that whole jumble of LAT. They did. Okay, sweet. 0 chips, at least 25 years old. That'd be Reese Vivid. My boy Reese Vivid. He's 25. Okay, yep, that works. 0 chips in LAG. I mean, there's probably a number of players that could fit in that description. I'm trying to think, though. 0 chips, LAG. Who's somebody different we could do, since this video is not too long at this point. Anyways, it's going to be probably 40 minutes or less, actually, being a solo episode. But LAG, 0 chips. I don't think Lacefield ever technically won a chip, did he? He played there. Okay, perfect. And then US team with Draza. I mean, obviously, a bunch of options there. How about maybe a more rare player? Let's go with Hollow. I believe he's from the US. Okay, perfect. And then at least 25 years old, United States. Is Looney technically US? I know sometimes he was listed as Mexico or Italy. I can't remember which one. Who else? Who could be a weird player that could go on here? Actually, you know what? Let's go with somebody fun. Never technically played a match in the CDL, but he was a sub. Doug Sensor Martin, and then US and played for LAG. He was really bad. I was about to say Gunless just because I like him a lot, and then I'm like, wait a minute, he is not from the US. LAG, United States. Here's one. Mental. Mr. Gears of War himself. I feel like we kind of got maybe some rare ones on there. Let's see Mental. Oh, Mental was almost the most rare. Shout out Aqua. He's on there. For LAG 0 chips, I put Lacefield. He was the rarest answer. Okay, we did something here. Hecz was the top answer. Darn. Top answer here was Scump. Yeah, Karma was down a little lower. Simp. Kenny was up there. Top answer was Hollow for 0 chips and Draza. Oh my god, I forgot he played with Goonjar on OGLA. That's kind of funny. And then US Draza. Yeah, there's a lot of people on there. Pentagram. Not guess. He was their sub for LAT, wasn't he? And then Scump for US and whatever that was. 25. All right. Yeah. Interesting grid. Comment down below if you guys got the rarest one. I thought Was Mental the rarest one? I can't remember. I think he was when we looked at that. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Obviously, a little bit shorter here today. Like I said, I figured it'd be for sure. I mean, under an hour for sure, probably under 45 minutes, just because it's a lot less talking being done when there's no Brock and we're not bouncing back and forth with ideas here and there. But I'm really excited to get Brock back next week after the first set of matches. I think he is flying home this Friday, so he's coming back from Japan, so long travel days ahead. So who knows how much of the matches he'll really be able to catch. He'll probably have to watch some back this weekend or just jump in, and we'll be able to get all of his thoughts on the roster changes. I've been texting him a bit. I'm in a bunch of group chats with him and like other friends and stuff, and we've been talking about the moves and all that, and it's like he like sees them, but like we're like basically flip time zones. So I haven't been able to talk to him too much about the roster changes. I've gotten his thoughts on a few of them. He's obviously excited. For those of you that know Brock, Arcitys is like one of his favorite players and always has been. So he's obviously very excited about the rumor that Arcitys is back in the league, even though it's on Falcons. But Brock's always been a big Priesta fan too, so it's kind of funny that Arcitys and Priesta are now teaming together for how poor they both had it for the past few years. They're like two of Brock's favorite players, and they're teaming together. So I know he's excited to be able to see those two guys playing together and talk about that. But yeah, I'm excited to get Brock back on next week, and we'll be back to normal. So if you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. I want to hear your predictions for the matches this week. I want to hear your thoughts on every roster change. That's mostly what I want to hear. Comment your thoughts on each roster change. If it has to be separate comments, if it has to be the same comment, put like Minnesota this, Optic this. I want to hear your thoughts on all of them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.